I've learned that time doesn't heal all wounds. It only hides them neatly behind routine and silence. Even now, years later, I can still hear the echo of that clock, the one from Wexley Street. Perhaps that's why I can't sleep when it rains. It was the winter of 1893 when I first stepped into that narrow London alley, the kind of place where secrets rot faster than fruit. The fog hung thick, swallowing the lamplight whole, and at the far end of that street stood a little shop, Hollis and Sons, Clockmakers. Inside, I found death disguised in precision. The old man, Thomas Hollis, lay face down on his workbench, a broken timepiece in his hand. The smell of oil and brass filled the room, but beneath it, a faint trace of something sour. Betrayal. People said Hollis was kind, that he repaired watches for free when he liked the owner. But I knew better. Kind men rarely die surrounded by broken things. The constable on duty handed me a note found beside the body. It was short, written in careful script. Time reveals all debts. I pocketed the note and stared at the clock on the wall, its hands frozen at exactly 11:47. Not broken. Deliberately. Stopped. That was when I realized whoever killed Hollis wanted me to notice the time. I spent that night reading through Hollis's ledger books. Dozens of clients, merchants, doctors, a few aristocrats. But one name kept reappearing, scrawled in the margins of every month. Edward P. Grafton, a businessman, and, by reputation, a friend. When I visited Grafton's office the next morning, he greeted me warmly, too warmly, the kind of smile you wear when you already know why the detectives come calling. He poured me tea and spoke of Hollis as if he were a brother. Said he'd last seen him a week ago. Said he was heartbroken, but his eyes wandered every time I mentioned that note. Time reveals all debts, I said. A curious phrase, don't you think? He didn't answer. Instead, his gaze flicked toward the clock on his wall, a fine piece unmistakably made by Hollis himself. Its hands, too, were stopped. When I left his office, the air felt heavier. Something inside me said the case wasn't about murder. It was about reckoning. Back at the station, I pulled Hollis's bank records. They showed regular withdrawals, large sums, always sent to the same account. And that account belonged to Edward Grafton. I returned to the clock shop that night. The rain had soaked through the boards, and the silence was thick enough to touch. On Hollis's bench sat the same broken watch I'd found in his hand. When I opened it, I found a small scrap of paper folded beneath the gears. Forgive me, Edward. The truth was never mine to keep. I remember staring at that note for a long while, listening to the wind scrape against the glass. Two men, bound by time. One dead, one pretending to grieve. But I didn't understand the full truth. Not yet. I thought I was chasing a debt of money or pride. I didn't know I was standing in the middle of something far older and far crueler. I closed the door of the shop and promised myself I'd find a connection between them. But as I turned away, I could swear, for a moment, I heard another clock ticking inside. And when I looked back, every clock on the wall had come to life again. They say time moves only forward, but that night it felt like it turned to watch me.